Every year, Apple puts out a new phone that they call the fastest iPhone ever. And on the surface, the new iPhone 16 looks like an incremental upgrade, but it's not. And I actually think there's a lot more interesting stuff under the surface on this device than people are realizing. More on that in a second though. This year, I'll be using and reviewing two devices, a 1TB 16 Pro Max in white titanium and a 512GB iPhone 16 Plus in this gorgeous ultramarine color. And this is actually the first time I've ever received a review unit from Apple before the release of the phone, so you may have seen some of my hands-on content in the past few days. But the unboxing of these is pretty simple at this point. We have the phone, a charging cable, some instruction papers, and for the first time, no Apple stickers in the box, although I think if you ask them at the Apple Store, they'll still give them to you. But the design this year is pretty similar to what we saw last year on the 15 models, with the exception of the action button now being on both models, a vertical camera layout on the base 16s, and the brand new camera control button. The new vibrant colors on the base 16 models look really good in my opinion, and I think these will be a popular choice for a lot of people. I personally went with the white titanium this time around just because I think it looks so clean in person, although I'll probably be using a case most of the time anyway. And that actually reminds me, one of the common questions I've seen a lot of this year is, how does the new camera control button work with a case? So let's talk about it. There seems to be three common approaches that brands are taking with the camera control button, and I think each one has its upsides, but it's going to come down to personal preference on which you prefer. ESR was kind enough to sponsor this section of the video, and as you can see with their soft case, one of the methods is to do a notch style cutout around the camera control button completely. The benefit to this approach is that you have full instant access to the button, which some people might prefer. Their hybrid case features another approach, which is a pill type cutout that still gives access to the physical button, but also adds a bit more protection to the front edge of the phone. And if you're the type of person who drops your device a lot, you'll probably want to go with a more rugged or tough case, which ESR also makes. And of course, the third approach, and the one that Apple takes directly, is by putting a sapphire crystal cover over the top of the button. And while the touch gestures still work, I find that the first party cases from Apple tend to be a bit pricey for what you're actually getting. The ESR cases are all really good value for the price, and of course they're all MagSafe compatible, so if any of these grab your attention, I'll have them linked in the description down below. Now, onto the reasons that I think these new phones are a much bigger upgrade than a lot of people are giving them credit for. Number one, the battery life. Apple did two big things this year that I think over time will lead to these devices being some of the best battery performers, not just in the iPhone lineup, but all smartphones in general. Not only did they increase the actual battery capacity, which of course is always nice to see, they seem to have optimized these new A18 chips really well. These are their second generation 3nm chips, and when they rolled out the first gen last year, they reportedly had to overclock the chip in order to hit peak performance, which led to the phones running hot, and of course that causes faster battery degradation over time. These new chips in the iPhone 16 lineup seem to run way more efficiently so far in my early testing, and I think the battery life increases are going to be felt in a big way for the new phones this year. The other main thing that I think is being overlooked by some is with the cameras and the overall philosophy of what actually is a photo. We've seen other flagships like the Google Pixel 9, which I think is an amazing phone by the way, starting to integrate AI image generation directly into the cameras, and Apple is doing the opposite of that. Starting in the iPhone 16 lineup, they've introduced a new process early in their image processing pipeline called photographic styles, which gives you way more control over the way the phone processes things like shadows, colors, and tone mapping. This basically just means Apple's giving us way more control and tools when taking photos, and it's actually available in both the Pro and non-Pro phones this year. It's amazing. I'm not a big fan of AI image generation. I think it can be really dangerous if used improperly, and at least so far it seems like Apple is taking a stand against adding things to a photo that never actually happened. One thing with the cameras though that I've been testing since the 14 Pro Max is seeing if the minimum focus distance is any better, and it looks like it's still pretty far away from the object when it switches to the ultra-wide lens, so just keep that in mind. But I'll be doing a massive week in the life with the 16 Pro for my long-term review next month, and at that point I'll be able to include more examples of what the cameras can actually do, but spoiler alert, they're really good. And of course I have to mention that there will be a bunch of Apple Intelligence AI features launching in the coming months, and so far in my early testing in the betas, there's some pretty useful and fun features in that so far. I will be making an entire video diving into all that stuff soon though, so make sure to stay tuned for that. It's a very big topic to dive into. But so far my early impressions of the iPhone 16 and 16 Pro are that on the outside it looks like a typical year-over-year upgrade, but on the inside I think there are some very meaningful upgrades here. My prediction is that the battery life alone might make this phone the obvious choice for anyone who's considering an upgrade, and more than ever, the base 16 and 16 Plus might just be the way to go. If you really need the bleeding edge tech that an iPhone camera can offer, or if you're someone who notices or cares about the 120Hz display, then of course, just go with the Pro. But this 16 Plus, man, I don't know. I'm just drawn to it this year. Expect a lot more from me on these devices soon, and if you aren't already, consider subscribing. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.